As the plane soared through the clouds, a storm brewed not just outside but within the cabin. Judge Maya Thompson, a respected black female judge, settled into her seat, ready for a routine flight. But when a flight attendant's scathing remark shattered the calm, Maya found herself at the center of a confrontation that would ripple through the airline industry. One call would change everything, leading to a showdown with the CEO and a reckoning for those who thought they could silence her. The hum of the airplane engines was a familiar sound to Judge Maya Thompson. It was a sound that usually brought her comfort, a reminder that she was on her way to another important conference where her voice would be heard. But today, as she settled into her seat, a sense of unease crept over her. She brushed it off, attributing it to the long hours she had spent in courtrooms, fighting for justice in a world that often felt unjust. As the passengers filed in, Maya noticed the flight attendant, Sarah, a young woman with a bright smile that seemed forced. There was something about her demeanor that set Maya on edge. Perhaps it was the way Sarah's eyes flicked over the passengers, assessing them with a judgment that felt all too familiar. "Welcome aboard," Sarah announced cheerfully, but her gaze landed on Maya, and the smile faltered for just a moment. "I hope you're ready for a smooth flight." Maya nodded, trying to shake off the feeling that something was off. She pulled out her notes, preparing for the discussions ahead. But as the plane began to taxi, Sarah approached her again, this time with a different energy. "Excuse me, ma'am," Sarah said, her voice dripping with condescension. "I hope you're not planning to take up too much space. We have a full flight today." Maya's heart raced. The comment was not just rude, it was a blatant attack. "Excuse me," she replied, her voice steady but laced with disbelief. "Just saying, you know how it is. Some people can be a bit large," Sarah said, her tone mocking. Maya felt the heat rise in her cheeks. She had faced discrimination before, but this was different. This was a direct attack, and it was happening in a confined space where she had no escape. "I think you should reconsider your words," Maya said, her voice firm. "I am a judge, and I expect to be treated with respect." The flight attendant's smile faltered, replaced by a look of disdain. "Respect is earned, not given," she shot back, her voice rising above the hum of the cabin. Gasps echoed from nearby passengers, and Maya's heart raced. She could feel the weight of their stares, the judgment in their eyes. But she refused to back down. "You have no idea who you're speaking to," she said, her voice steady. "And I will not tolerate this kind of behavior." The confrontation escalated, drawing the attention of other crew members and passengers. Maya's mind raced as she considered her options. She could let it go, but that would mean allowing this flight attendant to get away with her disrespect. No, Maya thought, she had fought too hard for her voice to be silenced now. "Is there a problem here?" a male flight attendant asked, stepping in as the tension in the cabin thickened. "Yes, there is," Maya replied, her voice unwavering. "This flight attendant has just insulted me for no reason." The male attendant glanced at Sarah, who was now visibly flustered. "Ma'am, I need you to calm down," he said, trying to diffuse the situation. "Calm down?" Maya echoed, incredulous. "I will not be silenced or dismissed. This is unacceptable." As the murmurs of the passengers grew louder, Maya felt a surge of determination. She reached for her phone, her fingers trembling slightly as she dialed her friend, a powerful attorney who had always supported her in her fight against injustice. "Hello?" her friend answered, sensing the urgency in her voice. "I need your help," Maya said, her heart pounding. "I'm on a flight, and a flight attendant just insulted me. I can't let this go." "Document everything," her friend advised. "And let's escalate this. You deserve to be treated with respect." Maya nodded, even though her friend couldn't see her. "I will. Thank you." As she hung up, the flight attendant returned, flanked by the male attendant. "We're going to need to ask you to keep your voice down, ma'am," he said, his tone patronizing. Maya took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. "I will not be silenced. I will not be silenced," Maya declared, her voice steady and clear. "I am a judge, and I demand to be treated with the respect that my position deserves. This isn't just about me. It's about standing up against discrimination in any form." The cabin fell silent, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Passengers exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement, while others looked on in shock. Maya could feel the tension crackling around her, but she stood firm, her heart racing with a mix of fear and determination. The male flight attendant shifted uncomfortably, glancing at Sarah, who was now visibly shaken. "Ma'am, we're just trying to ensure a pleasant flight for everyone," he said, attempting to regain control of the situation. "By insulting me?" Maya shot back. "You think that's how you create a pleasant environment? By belittling a passenger? I will not allow this behavior to go unchecked." Just then, a voice from the back of the cabin spoke up. "She's right. We all deserve respect, no matter who we are," an older gentleman said, his voice strong and unwavering. Maya felt a surge of support from the other passengers, emboldening her further. "Thank you," she said, turning to the man. "This isn't just about me. It's about all of us who have faced discrimination and disrespect. We need to hold people accountable for their actions." The male attendant sighed, clearly at a loss for how to handle the situation. "I'll need to report this to the captain," he said reluctantly, his eyes darting between Maya and Sarah. "Please do," Maya replied, her voice unwavering. "This is not just a personal issue, it's a matter of principle." As the flight attendant walked away, Maya felt a mix of anxiety and empowerment. She had stood up for herself, but she knew this was just the beginning. The confrontation had drawn attention, and she could only imagine the repercussions that would follow. A few moments later, the captain, a tall man with a commanding presence, approached. "I understand there's been a situation," he said, his tone professional but concerned. "Can you please explain what happened?" Maya took a deep breath, recounting the incident with clarity and conviction. "This flight attendant insulted me based on my appearance and made derogatory comments. I believe this behavior is unacceptable, and I will not tolerate it." The captain listened intently, nodding as she spoke. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. We take these matters very seriously. I will ensure that this is addressed appropriately." As he turned to speak with the flight attendants, Maya felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had taken a stand, and now it was time to see what would happen next. But deep down, she knew this was more than just a personal battle. It was a fight against a system that often allowed such behavior to go unchecked. The flight continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. Passengers whispered among themselves, some offering Maya words of support, while others looked on with curiosity. She could feel their eyes on her, and for the first time, she felt like she was not alone in this fight. As the plane reached cruising altitude, Maya pulled out her phone again, her fingers flying over the screen as she drafted a message to her attorney. She needed to document everything to ensure that this incident would not be swept under the rug. "Just had a confrontation with a flight attendant. I'm escalating this. I won't let them silence me," she typed, her heart racing as she hit send. Moments later, her phone buzzed with a reply. "Good. You have the right to stand up for yourself. Let's discuss next steps when you land." Maya felt a surge of determination. She was ready to take this fight beyond the confines of the airplane. This was about more than just her dignity. It was about creating a ripple effect that could lead to real change. As the flight continued, Maya reflected on her journey. She had faced countless challenges in her career, but this moment felt different. It was a turning point, a chance to shine a light on the injustices that so many faced every day. But little did she know, this confrontation was just the beginning. The repercussions of her stand would echo far beyond the airplane, drawing the attention of those in power and igniting a fire that would demand justice. As the plane began its descent, Maya felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The confrontation with the flight attendant had been intense, but she knew that the real battle was just beginning. She had made her stand, but now she had to ensure that her voice was heard beyond the confines of the aircraft. Once the plane landed and the passengers began to disembark, Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. She could already see the flight attendants huddled together, whispering and casting furtive glances in her direction. The captain had assured her that the incident would be addressed, but she knew that words were often just that, words. As she stepped into the terminal, Maya pulled out her phone and called her attorney, Lisa. "I'm back on the ground," she said as soon as Lisa picked up. "We need to discuss the next steps." "Good to hear from you, Maya. I've been following the situation closely. I want to make sure we handle this correctly," Lisa replied, her voice steady and reassuring. Maya explained the incident in detail, recounting the flight attendant's comments and the subsequent confrontation. "I want to file a formal complaint against the airline. This behavior cannot be tolerated," she said, her resolve unwavering. "Absolutely. We'll draft a complaint and gather any witness statements from the other passengers. This is a serious matter, and we need to ensure that it's taken seriously," Lisa said. As they spoke, Maya noticed a group of passengers from her flight gathering nearby, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. One woman, a middle-aged teacher named Karen, approached her. "Excuse me, are you the judge who stood up to that flight attendant?" she asked, her voice filled with admiration. Maya nodded, feeling a swell of pride. "Yes, I am. Thank you for your support. I just wanted to say that what you did was incredible. I've faced my own share of discrimination, And it's so important for people to stand up against it, Karen said, her eyes shining with gratitude. Maya smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie with the woman. Thank you. It's not easy, but we have to fight for what's right. As they spoke, more passengers approached, sharing their own stories of discrimination and expressing their support for Maya. Each story resonated with her, reinforcing her belief that this was a collective struggle, one that required unity and strength. After saying her goodbyes, Maya made her way to the airport exit, her mind racing with thoughts of the complaint she would file. She knew that the airline would likely try to downplay the incident, but she was determined to ensure that it received the attention it deserved. Once she reached her car, Maya took a moment to collect her thoughts. She had faced adversity before, but this felt different. This was a chance to make a real impact, to challenge the status quo and demand accountability. As she drove home, her phone buzzed with notifications. It was a message from Lisa. I've already started drafting the complaint. Let's meet tomorrow to finalize it and discuss our strategy. Maya felt a surge of gratitude. She had always known that she could count on Lisa, but this situation had brought their partnership to a new level. Together, they would fight for justice. The next day, Maya met with Lisa at her office, a sleek space filled with books and legal documents. I've gathered statements from several passengers who witnessed the incident, Lisa said, handing Maya a folder. They're all willing to support your complaint. Maya flipped through the statements, feeling a sense of empowerment. This is incredible. We need to make sure the airline understands the gravity of what happened. As they worked together to finalize the complaint, Maya's phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from a local news outlet. We heard about the incident on the flight. Would you be willing to share your story? Maya hesitated for a moment, weighing her options. She knew that going public could amplify her message, but it could also invite scrutiny and backlash. After a moment of contemplation, she replied, "Yes, I'd be willing to share my story." The interview was scheduled for the following day, and Maya felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. She was ready to take her fight to a larger audience, but she also knew that it would come with its own set of challenges. The next day, as she sat in front of the camera, Maya felt a surge of determination. She spoke candidly about her experience, emphasizing the importance of standing up against discrimination in all its forms. This isn't just about me. It's about everyone who has faced disrespect and prejudice. We need to hold people accountable for their actions, she said, her voice steady and powerful. As the interview aired, Maya's story began to gain traction. Social media exploded with Maya's heart raced at the news. The CEO of the airline, David Reynolds, wanted to meet with her. This was a significant development, and she knew it could be a pivotal moment in her fight for justice. Are you sure this is a good idea? Lisa asked, her voice laced with concern. You need to be prepared for anything. They might try to downplay the situation. I understand, but this is an opportunity to make my voice heard at the highest level, Maya replied, her determination unwavering. I want to ensure that this doesn't happen to anyone else. The meeting was scheduled for the following week at the airline's corporate headquarters. Maya spent the days leading up to it preparing her thoughts, gathering her evidence, and rehearsing what she wanted to say. She knew that this was her chance to advocate for change, not just for herself, but for all those who had faced discrimination. On the day of the meeting, Maya arrived at the sleek corporate building, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and excitement. She was greeted by a receptionist who led her to a conference room where David Reynolds awaited her. He was a tall man with a commanding presence, dressed in a tailored suit that exuded authority. Judge Thompson, thank you for coming, he said, extending his hand. I want to start by saying that I'm deeply sorry for your experience on our flight. It's unacceptable, and we take these matters very seriously. Maya shook his hand, her resolve strengthening. Thank you for meeting with me, Mr. Reynolds. I appreciate your willingness to address this issue. They sat down, and Maya began to outline her experience, detailing the flight attendant's comments and the impact it had on her. She spoke passionately about the need for accountability and the importance of creating a culture of respect within the airline. I believe that this incident is a reflection of a larger issue within the industry, Maya said, her voice steady. We need to ensure that all employees are trained to treat passengers with dignity, regardless of their appearance or background. Reynolds listened intently, nodding as she spoke. I completely agree. We are committed to diversity and inclusion, but clearly, we have work to do. I want to assure you that we will take immediate action to address this. Maya felt a glimmer of hope. What kind of actions are you considering? We're going to implement mandatory training for all staff on diversity and inclusion, as well as establish a clear protocol for handling complaints like yours, he replied. I want to ensure that this doesn't happen again. As they continued to discuss potential changes, Maya felt a sense of empowerment. This was the kind of dialogue she had hoped for, and she could see that Reynolds was genuinely committed to making a difference. Before the meeting concluded, Reynolds leaned forward, his expression serious. I want to personally apologize for what you went through. I'd like to invite you to be part of a panel we're organizing to discuss diversity in the airline industry. Your voice would be invaluable. Maya was taken aback. I would be honored to participate, she replied, her heart swelling with pride. This was an opportunity to advocate for change on a larger scale, and she was ready to take it. As she left the meeting, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had taken a stand, and now she was being given a platform to amplify her message. But she also knew that with this opportunity came responsibility. She had to ensure that her voice was not just heard, but that it led to real change. In the days leading up to the panel discussion, Maya immersed herself in research. She wanted to be well prepared, not just to share her story, but to provide actionable insights that could help the airline improve its practices. She reached out to colleagues and friends, gathering information on best practices for diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Maya also took the time to reflect on her own experiences. She thought about the countless times she had faced discrimination, both in her personal life and in her career as a judge. Each instance had shaped her, fueling her passion for justice and equality. She knew that her story was not just her own. It was a reflection of the struggles faced by many. On the day of the panel, Maya arrived at the airline's corporate headquarters, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. The room was filled with industry leaders, advocates, and fellow panelists who shared their experiences. As she looked around, she felt a sense of camaraderie with those who had come together to discuss such an important issue. The panel was moderated by a well-known journalist who began by introducing the topic of diversity in the airline industry. Today, we're here to discuss the importance of creating an inclusive environment for both employees and passengers. We have a remarkable panel of speakers who will share their insights and experiences. Maya listened intently as the moderator introduced the panelists, each of whom brought a unique perspective to the discussion. There was Jessica, a flight attendant who had been with the airline for over a decade and had witnessed both positive changes and persistent challenges. Next was Dr. Samuel Lee, an expert in organizational behavior and diversity training, who had consulted for various companies on how to foster inclusive workplaces. Finally, there was Angela Martinez, a civil rights advocate who had spent years fighting for equality in the transportation sector. As the discussion began, Maya felt a surge of pride. This was a platform where voices like hers could be amplified, where real change could be discussed and implemented. The moderator opened the floor for questions, and Maya was eager to contribute. Jessica, as a flight attendant, what changes have you seen in the airline's approach to diversity and inclusion? The moderator asked. Jessica leaned forward, her expression earnest. I've seen some positive changes, especially in training programs. However, there's still a long way to go. Many of us are passionate about creating a welcoming environment for all passengers, but we need more comprehensive training that addresses unconscious bias and equips us to handle difficult situations. Maya nodded in agreement. That's crucial. It's not just about having a diverse workforce. It's about ensuring that everyone feels respected and valued. Training should be ongoing, not just a one-time event. Dr. Lee chimed in. Absolutely. Research shows that organizations that prioritize diversity and inclusion not only improve employee morale but also enhance customer satisfaction. It's a win-win situation. As the discussion continued, Maya felt increasingly empowered. She shared her own experiences, detailing the incident on the flight and the impact it had on her. It's essential for employees to understand the power of their words and actions. A single comment can have lasting effects on a person's dignity and sense of belonging, she said, her voice steady. The audience listened intently, and Maya could see nods of agreement from various attendees. She felt a sense of solidarity with those who had come to support the cause. This was not just about her. It was about everyone who had faced discrimination and deserved to be treated with respect. After the panel discussion, Maya was approached by several attendees who wanted to share their own stories. One woman, a young Black professional named Tasha, spoke with tears in her eyes. Thank you for sharing your story. I've faced similar situations, and it's so validating to hear someone speak out. It gives me hope. Maya felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Thank you for sharing that with me. It's important for us to support one another and to keep speaking out. We can't let fear silence us. As the event wrapped up, Maya was approached by David Reynolds, who had been in the audience. Judge Thompson, I want to thank you for your powerful words today. Your insights are invaluable, and I'm committed to ensuring that we implement the changes we discussed. Maya smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. I appreciate your commitment to making a difference. It's going to take all of us working together to create real change. In the weeks that followed the panel discussion, Maya continued to receive messages of support from people across the country. Her story had resonated with many, and she was invited to speak at various events and forums focused on diversity and inclusion. Each opportunity allowed her to share her message and advocate for change. However, not all the feedback was positive. Some critics questioned her motives, suggesting that she was seeking attention or trying to undermine the airline. Maya braced herself for the backlash, but she refused to let it deter her. She had faced adversity her entire life, and this was just another challenge to overcome. One evening, as she sat in her living room reviewing the latest news coverage, her phone rang. It was Lisa. Maya, I've been following the developments closely. The airline is taking your feedback seriously, and they're implementing new training programs as we discussed. Maya felt a surge of hope. That's great to hear. I want to ensure that these changes are meaningful and not just for show. They're committed to transparency, Lisa replied. They've agreed to provide updates on the progress of the training and any changes to their policies. This is a significant step forward. As the conversation continued, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was not just advocating for herself, she was part of a larger movement for change. She wanted to ensure that her experience led to tangible improvements in the airline industry and beyond. One day, Maya received an unexpected call from a prominent civil rights organization. They wanted to feature her in a campaign focused on combating discrimination in public spaces. We believe your story can inspire others to stand up against injustice, the representative said. Maya was taken aback. I would be honored to be part of the campaign, she replied, her heart racing with excitement. This was another opportunity to amplify her message and reach an even broader audience. What would my role entail? The representative explained that they wanted her to share her story through a series of interviews, social media posts, and public appearances. The campaign aimed to raise awareness about discrimination in various public spaces, including airlines, restaurants, and public transportation. We want to highlight the importance of standing up against discrimination and encourage others to share their experiences, the representative said. Maya felt a sense of purpose wash over her. This was exactly what she had been hoping for, a chance to not only share her story, but to empower others to do the same. I'm in, she said, her voice filled with conviction. In the weeks that followed, Maya worked closely with the organization to develop the campaign. They created powerful visuals and compelling narratives that showcased her journey and the importance of advocating for change. Maya participated in interviews, sharing her experience on various platforms, and encouraging others to speak out against discrimination. As the campaign launched, Maya felt a wave of support from the community. People began sharing their own stories using the hashtag #StandUpForRespect, and the movement quickly gained momentum. Social media was flooded with posts from individuals recounting their experiences with discrimination and expressing solidarity with one another. Maya was overwhelmed by the response. She received messages from people across the country, thanking her for her courage and for giving them a voice. Your story inspired me to share my own, one message read. I've faced discrimination for years, and I finally feel empowered to speak out. As the campaign continued to grow, Maya was invited to speak at various events, including schools, community centers, and conferences. Each time she took the stage, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was not just sharing her story, she was part of a larger movement advocating for justice and equality. At one event, Maya stood in front of a group of high school students, eager to hear her message. You have the power to make a difference, she told them. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. Your voice matters, and you can inspire change in your communities. After her speech, a young girl approached her, tears in her eyes. Thank you for sharing your story. I've been bullied for being different, and I didn't know how to stand up for myself. You've given me hope. Maya knelt down to the girl's level, her heart swelling with empathy. You are strong, and you deserve to be treated with respect. Remember, you are not alone. There are people who support you, and you can always speak out. As the campaign gained traction, Maya received an invitation to speak at a national conference on civil rights. The event would bring together activists, policymakers, and community leaders to discuss strategies for combating discrimination and promoting equality. Maya felt honored to be part of such an important gathering. On the day of the conference, Maya arrived at the venue, a large convention center buzzing with energy. She was greeted by fellow speakers and activists, all passionate about the cause. As she mingled with others, she felt a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. When it was her turn to speak, Maya took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The audience was filled with people from diverse backgrounds, all eager to hear her story. "Thank you for this opportunity to share my journey," she began, her voice steady. "I stand before you not just as a judge, but as a woman who has faced discrimination and has chosen to speak out." Maya recounted her experience on the flight, the confrontation with the flight attendant, and the subsequent journey that had led her to this moment. She emphasized the importance of standing up against discrimination and the power of collective action. "We must hold ourselves and others accountable. Change begins with us," she said, her passion resonating with the audience. As she spoke, Maya could see the impact of her words. People were nodding in agreement, some even wiping away tears. She felt a sense of connection with the audience, a shared understanding of the struggles they faced. After her speech, Maya participated in a panel discussion alongside other activists and experts. They discussed strategies for promoting diversity and inclusion in various sectors, including education, healthcare, and transportation. Maya shared insights from her own experiences and emphasized the need for ongoing training and awareness. As the conference came to a close, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had connected with so many individuals who were passionate about creating change, and she knew that together, they could make a difference. The energy in the room was palpable, and she could sense that a movement was building. Before leaving the conference, Maya was approached by a journalist. Named Marcus, who worked for a prominent national newspaper. He had been following her story closely and wanted to interview her for an article about the impact of her campaign and the broader movement for equality. "Judge Thompson, your story has resonated with so many people," Marcus said, his notepad ready. "I'd love to hear more about your journey and what you hope to achieve moving forward." Maya smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and gratitude. "Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate your interest in sharing this important message. I believe that we're at a pivotal moment in our society where conversations about discrimination and inclusion are more crucial than ever." As they sat down for the interview, Maya shared her experiences, the challenges she faced, and the support she received from the community. She spoke passionately about the need for systemic change within industries, particularly in areas where discrimination had been historically overlooked. "I want to see real accountability," Maya said, her voice firm. "It's not enough to have diversity on paper. We need to ensure that everyone feels respected and valued in practice. This is about creating a culture of inclusion where everyone can thrive." Marcus nodded, jotting down notes. "What do you think is the most important step organizations can take to foster this culture?" "Training is essential," Maya replied, "but it must go beyond a one-time workshop. It should be ongoing, with regular assessments and opportunities for employees to engage in meaningful conversations about bias and discrimination. We need to create safe spaces where people can share their experiences and learn from one another." As the interview continued, Maya felt a sense of empowerment. She was not just sharing her story, she was advocating for a movement that could lead to real change. When the interview concluded, Marcus thanked her for her time and expressed his admiration for her courage. "I'll make sure to highlight your message in the article," he said. "Your voice is making a difference, and I believe it will inspire others to join the fight for equality." A few days later, Maya received a notification on her phone. The article had been published, and it was making waves across social media. The headline read, "Judge Maya Thompson, a voice for change in the fight against discrimination." As she read through the article, Maya felt a mix of pride and gratitude. Marcus had captured her story beautifully, emphasizing the importance of standing up against discrimination and the need for systemic change. The article included quotes from her speech at the national conference and highlighted the ongoing campaign to raise awareness about discrimination in public spaces. The response was overwhelming. People began sharing the article, expressing their support and appreciation for Maya's courage. Comments flooded in, with many sharing their own experiences and thanking her for being a voice for the voiceless. Maya felt a sense of responsibility wash over her. She knew that with this newfound visibility came the opportunity to effect real change. She began receiving invitations to speak at more events, participate in discussions, and collaborate with organizations focused on civil rights. However, with the increased attention also came scrutiny. Some critics questioned her motives, suggesting that she was using her platform for personal gain. Maya braced herself for the backlash, but she refused to let it deter her. She had faced adversity her entire life, and this was just another challenge to overcome. One evening, as she sat in her living room reviewing the latest news coverage, her phone buzzed with a message from Lisa. "Maya, I've been following the discussions online. Some people are pushing back against your message. How are you holding up?" Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the criticism. "I'm okay, Lisa. I expected some pushback, but I won't let it silence me. This is too important." "I admire your strength," Lisa replied. "Just remember to take care of yourself. You're doing incredible work, but it's okay to take a step back when you need to." Maya appreciated Lisa's support. She knew that self-care was essential, especially as she navigated the complexities of being in the public eye. She decided to take a weekend off to recharge, spending time with friends and family who reminded her of the importance of balance. During her weekend off, Maya visited her childhood home, where she spent time with her mother, who had always been her biggest supporter. They sat on the porch, sipping iced tea and reminiscing about the past. "I'm so proud of you, Maya," her mother said, her eyes shining with love. "You've always had a strong voice, and now you're using it to make a difference." "Thank you, Mom. It hasn't been easy, but I feel like I'm finally doing something meaningful," Maya replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. As they talked, Maya reflected on her journey. She thought about the challenges she had faced, the moments of doubt, and the strength she had found within herself. Her mother's unwavering support had been a constant source of encouragement, and it reminded her of the importance of community and the fight for justice. "Do you remember when I was in high school and I wanted to join the debate team?" Maya asked, a smile creeping onto her face. "Of course. You were so passionate about it, but you were nervous about speaking in front of people," her mother replied, chuckling. "I remember how you practiced your speeches in front of the mirror for hours." Maya laughed, recalling the countless evenings spent rehearsing. "I was terrified, but once I got up there, I realized that I had something to say, and it was worth sharing." Her mother nodded, her expression serious. "That's the key, Maya. You've always had a voice, and now you're using it to advocate for others. Just remember that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's part of being human." Maya felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you for always believing in me, Mom. I wouldn't be where I am today without your support." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the porch, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was ready to return to her advocacy work, armed with the love and encouragement of her family. The following week, Maya returned to her advocacy work with a fresh perspective. She was determined to continue amplifying her message and pushing for systemic change. She reached out to various organizations, seeking collaborations and partnerships that could help further the cause. One day, she received an email from a well-known nonprofit organization focused on civil rights. They wanted to collaborate on a series of workshops aimed at educating the public about discrimination and how to combat it. Maya felt a surge of excitement. This was an opportunity to reach even more people and create a lasting impact. "Absolutely. I'd love to be involved," she replied, her enthusiasm evident in her response. "Let's set up a meeting to discuss the details." As the planning for the workshops began, Maya worked closely with the organization to develop a curriculum that would engage participants and encourage meaningful discussions. They decided to include interactive activities, personal storytelling, and expert panels to create a dynamic learning environment. The day of the first workshop arrived, and Maya felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The venue was filled with participants from diverse backgrounds, all eager to learn and engage in discussions about discrimination. As she looked around the room, she felt a sense of hope. This was a space where change could happen. Maya opened the workshop by sharing her story, detailing her experience on the flight and the subsequent journey that had led her to this moment. She emphasized the importance of understanding the impact of words and actions, encouraging participants to reflect on their own experiences with discrimination. "Each of us has a role to play in creating a more inclusive society," she said, her voice steady. "It starts with recognizing our biases and being willing to engage in difficult conversations." The participants listened intently, and Maya could see the wheels turning in their minds. After her presentation, they broke into small groups to discuss their own experiences and brainstorm ways to combat discrimination in their communities. As the discussions unfolded, Maya moved from group to group, listening to their stories and offering guidance. She was struck by the vulnerability and honesty of the participants. Many shared their own experiences with discrimination, and it was clear that this workshop was creating a safe space for dialogue. During one of the small group discussions, a young man named Amir spoke up. I've faced discrimination because of my background, and it's been really hard to navigate. I often feel like I have to prove myself to others, he said, his voice filled with emotion. Maya felt a deep sense of empathy for Amir. Thank you for sharing that, Amir. It's important to acknowledge those feelings. You're not alone in this, and your experiences matter. It's crucial that we support one another and work together to create change. Amir nodded, visibly moved by her words. I appreciate that. It's hard to talk about these things, but I want to be part of the solution. Maya smiled, feeling a sense of connection with him. That's the spirit. Change starts with individuals like you who are willing to speak out and advocate for others. As the workshop continued, Maya felt a sense of fulfillment. This was what she had envisioned, creating a space for dialogue, understanding, and empowerment. By the end of the day, participants were energized and eager to take action in their communities. In the weeks that followed, the workshops gained traction, and Maya received positive feedback from participants. Many expressed gratitude for the opportunity to share their stories and learn from one another. The discussion sparked a sense of community, and participants began to form connections that extended beyond the workshop. One participant, a teacher named Sarah, reached out to Maya after the workshop. I've been inspired to create a similar program at my school, she wrote in her email. I want to help my students understand the importance of diversity and inclusion. Can we set up a time to discuss how to get started? Maya felt a surge of pride. Absolutely, Sarah. I'd love to help you develop your program, she replied, eager to support the initiative. They scheduled a meeting to brainstorm ideas and resources that could be used in the school setting. As Maya continued to engage with participants from the workshops, she noticed a common theme. Many were eager to take action in their own communities. Inspired by their experiences, they began organizing events, discussions, and initiatives aimed at promoting inclusivity and combating discrimination. One weekend, Maya attended a community event organized by a group of workshop participants. They had set up a diversity day in a local park, inviting families to come together to celebrate their differences through food, music, and cultural performances. Maya was invited to speak at the event, and she felt honored to be part of such a meaningful gathering. As she arrived at the park, she was greeted by a vibrant atmosphere filled with laughter, music, and the delicious aroma of various cuisines. Families from different backgrounds had come together to share their cultures and stories. Maya felt a sense of joy as she walked through the crowd, engaging with attendees and learning about their traditions. When it was time for her to speak, Maya took the stage, her heart swelling with pride. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate our diversity, she began. Each of us brings something unique to the table, and it's our differences that make our community stronger. She shared her journey, emphasizing the importance of standing up against discrimination and fostering a culture of respect. Let's continue to support one another and create spaces where everyone feels valued and included, she urged the crowd. As she spoke, Maya could see the impact of her words. People were nodding in agreement, and some even wiped away tears. After her speech, attendees approached her to share their own stories and express their appreciation for her advocacy. However, as the movement continued to grow, Maya faced new challenges. Some critics began to voice their opposition more vocally, questioning the need for discussions about discrimination and arguing that it was unnecessary to focus on these issues in their community. One evening, Maya received a call from Lisa, who had been following the developments closely. Maya, I've seen some negative comments online about the workshops and the events. Some people are pushing back against the idea of discussing discrimination. How are you handling it? Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the criticism. I expected some pushback, Lisa. It's part of the process, but I won't let it deter me. This work is too important. I admire your strength, Lisa replied. Just remember to stay focused on the positive impact you're making. You're inspiring so many people. Maya appreciated Lisa's support. She knew that the journey toward change would not be easy, but she was committed to continuing the conversation and advocating for those who felt marginalized. One day, Maya received an unexpected invitation to speak at a town hall meeting organized by local government officials. They wanted to address community concerns about discrimination and inclusion, and they believed her voice would be valuable in the discussion. Maya felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. This was an opportunity to engage with local leaders and advocate for systemic change on a larger scale. She prepared diligently, gathering data and examples of successful initiatives from other communities. On the day of the town hall meeting, Maya arrived at the venue, where community members had gathered to voice their concerns. As she took her seat, she could feel the tension in the room. Some attendees were clearly skeptical about the need for discussions on discrimination. When it was her turn to speak, Maya stood before the audience, her heart racing. "Thank you for allowing me to share my perspective today," she began. "I believe that addressing discrimination is not just a moral imperative, it's essential for the well-being of our community." She shared her experiences, emphasizing the importance of creating a culture of respect and inclusion. Discrimination affects us all, whether we realize it or not. It creates divisions and hinders our ability to thrive as a community. We must work together to foster understanding and support for one another. As she spoke, Maya could see some audience members nodding in agreement, while others remained skeptical. As Maya continued her speech, she focused on the importance of dialogue and understanding. We need to create spaces where people can share their experiences and learn from one another. It's not about assigning blame. It's about fostering empathy and building bridges. She shared stories from the workshops and community events, highlighting the positive impact they had on participants. "I've seen firsthand how conversations about discrimination can lead to healing and understanding. When we listen to each other, we can find common ground and work together toward solutions." As she concluded her speech, Maya felt a sense of hope. "I urge all of you to join this conversation. Let's work together to create a community where everyone feels valued and respected. Change starts with us, and it begins with open hearts and open minds." After her speech, the audience was invited to ask questions and share their thoughts. Maya felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety as she listened to the diverse perspectives in the room. Some attendees expressed their support, while others voiced skepticism about the need for such discussions. One man stood up, his arms crossed. "I don't see the point in focusing on discrimination. Aren't we all just people? Why do we need to make it a big deal?" Maya took a deep breath, recognizing the importance of addressing his concerns. "I understand where you're coming from. It can be uncomfortable to talk about these issues, but ignoring them doesn't make them go away. Discrimination exists, and it affects real people in our community. By acknowledging it, we can work toward solutions that benefit everyone." The man seemed to consider her words, and Maya felt a glimmer of hope. Engaging in these conversations was essential, even when they were difficult. In the weeks that followed the town hall meeting, Maya continued to engage with community members, seeking to build alliances and foster understanding. She reached out to local organizations, schools, and faith groups, inviting them to collaborate on initiatives that promoted diversity and inclusion. One afternoon, Maya met with a group of local business owners who were interested in creating a diversity in business initiative. They wanted to explore how their businesses could contribute to a more inclusive community. Maya felt encouraged by their willingness to engage in the conversation. "Thank you for being open to this discussion," she said during their meeting. Businesses play a crucial role in shaping community culture. By prioritizing diversity and inclusion, you can set an example for others and create a welcoming environment for all customers. The business owners shared their own experiences and challenges, and together they brainstormed ideas for workshops, community events, and outreach programs. Maya felt a sense of excitement as they discussed ways to promote inclusivity in their workplaces and beyond. As the Diversity in Business initiative began to take shape, Maya and the business owners decided to organize a community celebration to showcase the diverse cultures within their town. They planned a festival that would feature food, music, and performances from various cultural groups, creating a space for people to come together and celebrate their differences. The day of the festival arrived, and the park was filled with vibrant colors, laughter, and the delicious aroma of food from around the world. Maya walked through the crowd, feeling a sense of joy and pride. This was what she had envisioned, a community coming together to celebrate diversity. As she took the stage to welcome attendees, Maya felt a wave of emotion. "Thank you all for being here today to celebrate our rich tapestry of cultures," she began. "This festival is a testament to the strength of our community and our commitment to inclusivity. Let's continue to support one another and work together to create a brighter future for everyone." The crowd erupted in applause, and Maya felt a sense of fulfillment. She had witnessed the power of community engagement and the impact of open dialogue. As the festival continued, she mingled with attendees, listening to their stories and celebrating their unique backgrounds. However, as the festival came to a close, Maya received an unexpected message that would challenge her resolve. A local news outlet published an article criticizing the festival, claiming it was a waste of resources and unnecessary. The article questioned the need for discussions about diversity and accused the organizers of promoting a divisive agenda, Maya felt a mix of anger and disappointment as she read the article. She knew that not everyone would support the movement, but the harsh criticism stung. She reached out to Lisa, seeking support and guidance. "Lisa, have you seen the article? They're questioning everything we've worked for," Maya said, her voice filled with frustration. "I did see it, and I know it's disheartening," Lisa replied. "But remember, this is part of the journey. Not everyone will understand or agree with what you're doing. Focus on the positive impact you're making and the people who support you." Maya took a deep breath, reminding herself of the importance of resilience. Maya took a deep breath, reminding herself of the importance of resilience. "You're right, Lisa. I can't let this negativity overshadow the progress we've made. We've created a community that values diversity, and that's what matters." Determined to rise above the criticism, Maya decided to address the article head-on. She reached out to the local news outlet and requested an opportunity to share her perspective. "I want to clarify the purpose of the festival and the importance of fostering inclusivity in our community," she explained in her email. To her surprise, the editor responded positively, inviting her to write a guest column. Maya felt a surge of determination. This was her chance to articulate her vision and counter the negative narrative. In the days that followed, Maya poured her heart into the column. She wrote about the significance of the festival, emphasizing that it was not just a celebration of diversity, but a call to action for the community to come together and support one another. She highlighted the stories of individuals who had shared their experiences during the festival, showcasing the power of dialogue and understanding. "Diversity is not a divisive agenda. It is a strength that enriches our community," she wrote. "When we embrace our differences, we create a more vibrant and resilient society. It is our responsibility to ensure that everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their background." After submitting the column, Maya felt a sense of relief. She had taken a stand and used her voice to advocate for the values she believed in. A few days later, the column was published, and Maya received an outpouring of support from community members who appreciated her perspective. The response to her column was overwhelmingly positive. Many readers expressed gratitude for her willingness to address the criticism and for her commitment to fostering inclusivity. Some even shared their own stories of discrimination and the importance of community support. Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose as she read through the messages. She realized that while there would always be challenges, the support of her community was a powerful force for change. Inspired by the response, she decided to organize a follow-up event, a community forum where residents could come together to discuss their experiences and ideas for promoting inclusivity. The day of the community forum arrived, and Maya felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had invited local leaders, educators, and residents to participate in an open dialogue about diversity and inclusion. As attendees began to fill the room, she felt a sense of hope. Maya opened the forum by sharing her vision for a more inclusive community. "Thank you all for being here today. This forum is an opportunity for us to listen to one another, share our experiences, and work together to create a community where everyone feels valued." As the discussions unfolded, participants shared their stories, challenges, and ideas for promoting inclusivity. Maya listened intently, taking notes and encouraging dialogue. She was struck by the vulnerability and honesty of the attendees, many of whom expressed a desire to take action in their own neighborhoods. One woman, Maria, spoke about her experiences as an immigrant and the challenges she faced in finding acceptance. "I want to create a support group for immigrants in our community," she said. "We need a space where we can share our experiences and help one another." Maya felt a surge of inspiration. "That's a fantastic idea, Maria. I would love to help you get that started. It's important for everyone to have a voice and a support system." As the forum continued, Maya felt a sense of momentum building. Participants began to brainstorm initiatives, from cultural exchange programs to community service projects aimed at fostering understanding and collaboration. The energy in the room was palpable, and Maya could see that the community was ready to take action. By the end of the forum, attendees had formed several working groups focused on different initiatives. Maya felt a sense of pride as she watched people come together, united by a shared commitment to creating a more inclusive community. As the event concluded, Maya received numerous messages of appreciation from participants. "Thank you for facilitating this discussion," one attendee wrote. "I feel inspired to make a difference in my community." In the weeks that followed, the initiatives born from the community forum began to take shape. Maria successfully launched her support group for immigrants, and other groups focused on cultural exchange and education were formed. Maya felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed the positive changes unfolding in her community. However, she also knew that the journey was far from over. The challenges of discrimination and bias still existed, and there was much work to be done. Maya remained committed to her advocacy, continuing to engage with community members and support their initiatives. One day, as she was preparing for another workshop, Maya received a call from David Reynolds, the CEO of the airline she had initially confronted. Maya, I wanted to reach. One day, as she was preparing for another workshop, Maya received a call from David Reynolds, the CEO of the airline she had initially confronted. Maya, I wanted to reach out personally to thank you for your advocacy and the impact you've made in our community, he said, his tone sincere. Maya was taken aback. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. I appreciate you taking the time to call. I believe that change starts with open dialogue, and I'm glad to see that the airline is taking steps toward improvement. I've been following your journey closely, he continued. Your recent initiatives and community forums have inspired me. I'd like to discuss how we can collaborate to promote diversity and inclusion within our airline and beyond. Maya felt a surge of excitement. This was an opportunity to create meaningful change on a larger scale. I would love to discuss that further. I believe that the airline industry has a unique role to play in fostering inclusivity, especially given the diverse populations we serve. They scheduled a meeting for the following week, and Maya spent the days leading up to it preparing her thoughts and ideas. She wanted to ensure that she could effectively communicate her vision for a more inclusive airline experience. When the day of the meeting arrived, Maya walked into the airline's headquarters, feeling a mix of anticipation and determination. She was greeted warmly by David and his team, who were eager to hear her insights. Thank you for coming, Maya, David said as they settled into a conference room. We're committed to making our airline a leader in diversity and inclusion, and we believe your perspective can help us achieve that. Maya shared her experiences and the feedback she had received from community members and workshop participants. It's essential for the airline to not only implement training programs for staff, but also to create a culture where employees feel empowered to speak up against discrimination, she emphasized. David nodded, taking notes. We've already begun revising our training programs, but I want to ensure that they are comprehensive and effective. What specific changes do you think we should prioritize? Maya suggested several initiatives, including ongoing diversity training, employee resource groups, and community outreach programs that would engage underrepresented communities. It's important to create a feedback loop where employees and customers can share their experiences and suggestions for improvement, she added. As the meeting progressed, Maya felt a sense of optimism. David and his team were receptive to her ideas, and they began brainstorming ways to implement the initiatives she proposed. They discussed the possibility of launching a public campaign to raise awareness about diversity and inclusion in the airline industry. I believe that if we can lead by example, we can inspire other companies to follow suit, David said, his enthusiasm evident. Let's work together to create a comprehensive plan that not only addresses internal policies but also engages the community. Maya left the meeting feeling invigorated. This collaboration had the potential to create a ripple effect, influencing not just the airline but the entire industry. She knew that change was possible, and she was determined to be a part of it. In the following months, Maya worked closely with the airline's team to develop the public campaign. They created a series of advertisements and social media initiatives that highlighted the importance of diversity and inclusion in travel. The campaign featured real stories from employees and customers, showcasing the airline's commitment to fostering a welcoming environment for all. As the campaign launched, Maya felt a sense of pride. She had witnessed the power of collaboration and the impact of advocacy. The response from the community was overwhelmingly positive, with many expressing appreciation for the airline's efforts to address discrimination and promote inclusivity. Maya also continued her community work, facilitating workshops and forums that encouraged open dialogue about diversity. She felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched individuals come together to share their experiences and support one another. One day, Maya received an invitation to speak at a national conference on diversity and inclusion in the workplace. The organizers wanted her to share her journey and the impact of her advocacy work, particularly in collaboration with the airline. As she prepared for the conference, Maya reflected on how far she had come. She had transformed her personal experience into a movement that inspired others to stand up against discrimination. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the support she had received from her community and the opportunities that had arisen from her advocacy. On the day of the conference, Maya took the stage, her heart racing with excitement. "Thank you for this opportunity to share my story," she began. "I stand before you not just as a judge, but as a woman who has faced discrimination and has chosen to speak out. My journey has shown me the power of community, collaboration, and the importance of using our voices to advocate for change." As she spoke, Maya could see the audience engaged and inspired. She shared her experiences, the challenges she faced, and the positive. As she spoke, Maya could see the audience engaged and inspired. She shared her experiences, the challenges she faced, and the positive changes that had emerged from her advocacy work. Together, we can create a culture of inclusivity that not only benefits individuals but strengthens our communities as a whole, she emphasized. The audience erupted in applause, and Maya felt a wave of emotion wash over her. This was the culmination of her journey, a moment where her voice had the power to inspire others to take action. After her speech, she participated in a panel discussion with other leaders in diversity and inclusion, sharing insights and strategies for fostering change in various sectors. As the conference came to a close, Maya received numerous messages of appreciation from attendees. Many expressed gratitude for her courage and the impact of her story. "You've inspired me to take action in my own community," one message read. "Thank you for being a voice for change." Returning home, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had witnessed the power of her advocacy and the ripple effect it had created. The community initiatives, the collaboration with the airline, and the conversations sparked at the conference were all part of a larger movement toward inclusivity. In the months that followed, Maya continued to engage with her community, facilitating workshops and supporting initiatives that promoted diversity. She also maintained her partnership with the airline, working on new programs that would further enhance their commitment to inclusivity. One day, as she was preparing for another workshop, Maya received a call from a national organization focused on civil rights. They wanted to honor her with an award for her contributions to the fight against discrimination and her efforts to promote inclusivity in the workplace. "I'm truly honored," Maya said, her voice filled with gratitude. "But this work is not just about me. It's about all of us coming together to create change." The day of the awards ceremony arrived, and Maya stood before a crowd of supporters, community members, and fellow advocates. As she accepted the award, she felt a mix of pride and humility. "This recognition is not just for me. It's for everyone who has shared their story, who has stood up against discrimination, and who has worked tirelessly to create a more inclusive society," she said, her voice steady. Maya reflected on her journey, the challenges she had faced, and the strength she had found within herself. "I believe that change is possible when we come together, listen to one another, and advocate for those who may not have a voice. Let's continue to support each other and work toward a future where everyone feels valued and respected." As she concluded her speech, the audience erupted in applause, and Maya felt a sense of fulfillment. She had come full circle, transforming her personal experience into a movement that inspired others to take action. In the years that followed, Maya's advocacy work continued to flourish. She became a sought-after speaker, sharing her story at conferences and events across the country. Her collaboration with the airline led to the implementation of new policies and training programs that set a standard for inclusivity in the industry. Maya also established a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion in various sectors, providing resources and support for individuals and organizations committed to creating change. The organization became a hub for community engagement, fostering dialogue and collaboration among diverse groups. As she looked back on her journey, Maya felt a deep sense of gratitude for the support she had received and the impact she had made. She had turned her pain into purpose, using her voice to advocate for justice and empowerment. Maya's story became a testament to the power of resilience, community, and the importance of standing up against discrimination. She inspired countless individuals to share their experiences, engage in difficult conversations, and work together to create a more inclusive society. As she often reminded her audiences, change begins with us. Each of us has the power to make a difference, to stand up for what is right, and to advocate for those who may not have a voice. Let's continue to support one another and work toward a future where everyone feels valued and respected. With that message, Maya's legacy of change continued to inspire generations, reminding them that together, they could create a world where diversity was celebrated and inclusivity was the norm.